Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Product School webinar. Thanks for joining us today. Just in case you didn't know, Product School teaches product management certificates online and at our 20 campuses worldwide. On top of that, every week we offer some amazing local product management events and host online webinars, live streams, and Ask Me Anything sessions. Head over to productschool.com after this webinar to check them out. Today, we have an awesome guest presenting. I'd like to introduce you to Alex Crumpler. Based in Atlanta, Georgia, Alex has turned his passion for storytelling into a career in the world of tech. For nearly a decade, he has been a leader in digital product management. Alex's career as a digital PM started in 2010 at a company called ShareCare, where he worked for 6 years as a product and social media manager. He focused on furthering their mission of simplifying the digital health education experience. In 2016, Alex brought his skills to CNN Digital, where he started as a product manager for storytelling. In that role, Alex led the largest digital video event in the history of CNN, the 2016 presidential election night. So feel free to leave any questions for Alex in the comments, and we'll leave about 10 to 15 minutes in the end to answer these questions. And without further ado, let's welcome Alex.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Can you see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
Awesome, thanks so much. And thank you guys for taking the time today. I hope what we talk about you find useful. So let's get started. Achieving focus. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of some storytelling because that's what we do. Imagine a world where you have an immense amount of responsibilities across a lot of different products. And you're in a mode of trying to keep the lights on while also pushing the business forward. That was the state of where we were a couple months ago. And what we've done is that we've instituted a framework called OKRs. If you're not familiar with them, it stands for objectives and key results. And so today I'm going to go in and tell you some stories about how we've applied those, how they've helped, how they've been challenging, and some key takeaways. So again, we're here to talk about OKRs. And then I will segue into something called health metrics, which I hope you guys will find useful as well. And we'll give some examples of how we've applied that to our processes. All right, let's just dive in. All right, so OKRs, objectives and key results. It may be new to some, it might not be new to others, but objectives and key results are meant to be lead measures. They are meant to be aspiring and influential. They are qualitative in nature. So takeaway one, let's go a little bit further. Many times some people think, or you can naturally fall into quantitative measures, and that's the wrong thinking. You really need to look at objectives as North Star ideas, concepts, things, the way you're going to change the business or change the world. They can be super pie in the sky kind of stuff, but make sure that they're qualitative in nature. Your key results will help you measure what that objective is. Again, just to reiterate, objectives, qualitative in nature, and they're measured by key results. So an example of one, which I think hopefully you'll ask, is own real-time storytelling. That's a pretty amazing Northern Star, right? In the competition of storytelling across a multitude of industries, owning live storytelling and owning real-time storytelling is pretty broad. It can be accomplished in many different ways, and that objective is intentional, so we can go at it in many different ways. Because ultimately, right, as product managers, we want to try different things, see what resonates with our audience, see which is going to move the needle for our consumers and our business. And the way we're going to know we're doing that is by measuring them in key results. I think a good other takeaway, well, we talked about that, is key results. So diving a little bit deeper into that, they are more quantitative. They don't necessarily have to be, but when you're developing and making objectives and key results, you really want to be sure that you have good measurement in place, so you know that you're making the right steps towards achieving that objective. So you could say, in owning real-time storytelling, a key result could be to create and develop two new experiences that engage our audiences. Or let's apply it to maybe you're a startup and an objective is to hire the best people in the business. A key result could be, on a weekly basis, hire one or two people to the team. So really, they're markers of how successfully you are making strides towards that North Star objective. Takeaway number 3, kind of talked about that as well. Objectives are meant to be strategic. They're not really meant to be incremental. You really want to create some change and some sustainable change. They're over time. So we use them at CNN on a quarterly basis. We try to go after a team or a pod of people. We'll go after one OKR. In the past, we have tried to go after many, a specific team trying to go after many. And we found that was really hard for many reasons: focus, context switching, not enough capacity, a whole lot of different things. So really, as another takeaway or as another word of advice to pass along, if you're going to implement OKRs into your process and into your business, really make a good case and really push for with your leadership or with your other colleagues and peers to say, if we really want to see sustainable change, we can really only focus on one. Now, if you have multiple teams, sure, and you have multiple OKRs, if you're a bigger firm, or if you're a startup, you might only have one. If you're a bigger firm, you can spread those OKRs across different teams. That's the beauty of the framework, is that it scales and can be applied to many different areas, not just product teams, can be design teams, can be editorial teams. They're really a nimble framework for creating sustainable change. Health metrics. So this is, I don't think this is really unique to product management, but I really wanted to hit on this in the product community. We learned a couple months ago that while we were involving ourselves in objectives and key results and going down that path, we just can't drop the day-to-day that we're doing, right? We, as product folks, have to manage a business, and here we manage a storytelling business. And so we have to keep the lights on, while also we're expected from our leadership and our consumers in the business to push it forward. So we had this reconciliation of how do we balance going after objectives, but not losing sight of the health of our business. And so we instituted something called health metrics into our team. And it's been really successful and been really helpful. And it's a really helpful tool for product folks. Hopefully you can see this if it's loading. Might take a minute. Bear with me. Go forward. No. Hang in with me, guys. Well, maybe it'll come back on. But this screen is meant to show two things. It's meant to show on the left is an image of a GPS, and on the right is an image of an instrument cluster, like that you would be in your car on your dashboard. And so what we do is that we use health metrics to keep a pulse on the health of our products and our business. And we check in with that on Mondays. And that will tell us how well we are doing. it tells us if we need to focus away from our more objective oriented work to make sure that we're solving some issue that has become apparent either with our consumers or with our business. Again, given capacity, right? We want to be doing these change oriented things. We want to be doing these objective oriented work. We want to be making sustainable change with our business, with our consumers, with our products. But again, to repeat, we can't lose sight of the health of our business. We have to keep making money. We have to keep giving the experiences and the products that our consumers and our business demand of us. And so at any moment in time, we have to use health metrics again to keep a pulse of how we're doing and to tell us whether we need to get off the highway and put more gas in the car to resolve an issue, or if we can stay on the highway and heading towards that North Star. So I'm sorry that that image didn't come through, but I hope I painted it well with words. If you have questions about it, please put those in the comments. I can speak more to those in a minute. I hope you guys have a question too. It's like, oh my goodness, how do you communicate all of this? It's super tough. I'm not going to lie. We have evolved it over time to a pretty concise, well-received communication style. So I'm going to share that with you guys now. And what we have here is a really simple template. It's super simple. It's really nimble. It's really easy to use. And I'll help break it down for you guys. So we'll start kind of clockwise and go around the clock. So top left, priorities this week. The intent here is to show our colleagues, our peers, our leadership, executive leadership, where our focus is. You know, what are our priority ones? What are our priority twos? Just give some insight into what the team's working on. That's simply it. To the right over there is OKR confidence, objective and key result confidence. This one, you know, if we're focusing on one OKR, we state that OKR. So people, again, it doesn't hurt to over communicate, knows what the team is focused on. And we give a little bit of a confidence score, just simply low, medium, or high, if we're going to be able to complete that by the end of the quarter. I'll mention previously, but I'll restate it again, reinforcing that objectives and key results are best served on a quarterly basis. If you try to keep 3 to 6 months is probably the best. So you keep a good cadence and a good focus and don't get distracted by other work for setting them. Flipping back to this. So those priorities this week, ideally, those priorities should be steps that you're taking or focus that you're taking to realize that OKR. So that's the connection between those two tiles. Going down into this health metrics card. Let me come back to that one because this is a good one. But let me jump to the next 4 weeks. That's super simple. That just gives a little bit of insight into what's coming down the road. So it's a little bit of, hey, this is coming down through our roadmap. If you have any questions or want to get points of clarification on what that is, hopefully it will stir up those questions from colleagues, peers, executives, and so forth. A very, very important one, and one that we've had really good success with. And again, it's hard, but I hope that the culture and the spirit of the companies that you're with or the companies that you aspire to work with embody this. We've done it here at CNN, and it's been really, really helpful and successful so far, and we're still evolving it. But it is highlighting headwinds and tailwinds. Specifically, the headwinds, you want to raise that up. You want to raise that up to your leadership, especially if you have a servant leadership model like we do here at CNN. They are there to help us remove these blockers. They are intended to help us maintain focus on our priorities and the OKR, and they're there to help us remove the blockers, get us resources, get us new teammates, get people talking. Again, just in general, remove things that are in our way so we can maintain our focus on the objectives that the firm and the teams are trying to go after. Tailwinds are what's setting your sails, right? So tailwinds are good things. You want to celebrate the good. You want to celebrate the challenges that you have, and you want to celebrate the good. So we put those in there too. That can be, we had great ideation session with the team. We launched a consumer survey and got 100% completes. Things like that. So highlight headwinds and tailwinds. I personally feel my perspective is that your colleagues, your peers, and your leadership will thank you for it. I'm going to go in here, health metrics. This one is super impactful. So we simply highlight this in colors because the audience here is a collective of, again, colleagues, peers, executive leadership. So you want to be concise and tight with this. But our health metrics, again, on a weekly basis, tell us how well we're doing across 3 areas. The way we develop these is that my cross-functional team, we said, how do we want to measure ourselves? What's important to us? And we landed on 3 themes. It was business and the consumer. How well are our products doing and meeting their needs? Our code health, right? If our code is not good, if our performance or stability is shaky, it's going to impact the front end experiences that we're developing and crafting for our audience. And then our team health, like we have to be working well together. We have to have a good bond and a good culture so we can excel as a high performing team. And we simply highlight those in kind of stoplight format, green, red, and yellow. And we use a couple of different dashboards and analytics suites to help bring those together. Team health right now is usually done by just a simple survey, anonymous survey with a couple of questions to get at how well we're doing. Code, we use a performance suite that's readily available to tell us how our code health is doing. Business, we use a top in the top class metrics analytics reporting suite to tell us how well we're doing. And we review that again on a Monday morning. And if we're all in good shape, that's great. If we're not, we know that we have to divert some of our focus to help bring things out of the red and the yellow into the green. And or if we're in the red, probably put that as a headwind down in there to ask our leadership or to ask other teams to help us get it resolved so we can continue operating as a high performing team. All right, so we're getting towards the tail end here because, again, as Dan said, I really want to hear from you guys and I want to really answer your questions because I think that'll be most helpful for you and make this a little bit more engaging. But as a product manager and just as a voracious reader, I feel like in product management, you got to read, you got to consume, you got to study. You just got to be a continual learner and be curious. And so one of my heroes is Theodore Roosevelt, who was a voracious reader. And I love this quote that says, I am a part of everything that I have read. And so here are some books that I've found really useful on my journey as a product person. And one of them is Radical Focus. A lot of the objective and key results, themes, and takeaways have been lifted from there. This one's a really, really good book. It's a super quick read. And it's written, as it says, as a fable. So it's amazing, amazing how it comes across, and it's easily absorbed. One thing that really helped change the way I lead and the way I inspire people is Dream Teams by Shane Snow. Can't recommend this book enough. Even if you've read it, reread it again. I certainly have. Very insightful book, very amazing about how different people, how you can get them together from different cultures, religions, and get them together, get them working efficiently, high performing, and amazing things come out of that. And he uses a lot of different case studies to help highlight that. So I hope you can pick these 2 books up. Again, amazing to put in your product library and to keep in reference from as you travel down your product journey. All right. I really want to hear from you. So what questions do you have?
Firstly, thank you so much for that presentation, Alex. That was awesome, packed filled with insights. So I'm looking at Facebook comments here, and I'm waiting for our audience to start posting their questions, but I do see someone typing. So before we jump into their questions, one thing we like to ask all of our speakers is, do you have any advice for aspiring product managers? I know you had a lot of good advice in your presentation, but if there was one piece, what would that be?
I think like at a high level, really, Dan, and to the audience, just be curious, right? As a product person, be curious about the space that you're playing in, and never lose sight of that, because if you get stagnant, you're going to get passed by, right? I mean, it's a competition, right? It's a competitive space of where we play in, depending on what industry you're in. And as long as you're curious and as long as you're open, right, you're going to one, keep pushing yourself and keep pushing the vision of where you're going to take your product or products. And then if you're naturally curious, right, too, a kind of a an underlying theme, excuse me, of that is that you're going to just be more open, right? Especially in a cross-functional model, especially, in our product world, right? And as a discipline, we just naturally have to work across different lines and work with different disciplines of the business. And so if you're curious, and really put a priority on that, you're going to ask amazing questions and get amazing information out of people from your business revenue partners, from your editorial partners, or from your engineering partners, from your product design partners. So really, top line, just be curious, and a lot of great things will open up below that.
Awesome. Great answer. Thank you. So Randy just asked, what happens if your culture can't achieve focus?
Randy, that's a great question. If it can't achieve focus, that's a great one. I would say that leveraging the objective and key results framework should help facilitate that. There will be really tough conversations with the business, with your other cross-functional partners about what are the right objectives and key results to go after. And if that is tough, right? If you're setting those kind of on the ground, let's say these objectives are emergent objectives that the teams are working on, you might have to ask your leadership to be the tiebreaker. You might have to ask your executive leadership to come in with some perspective and come in with some insights to help either tiebreak or to help hone the focus. But the framework of objectives and key results will help the group achieve focus. It definitely has worked in our world. I can state it firsthand. It is tremendously helped more ways than one. But yes, it has not been easy. It has been absolutely tough, but it's been tough in the right way because it's made us ask the right questions, so we go after the right things.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm not sure if Adrian's is a question here. He says outcome equals improve retention by 20% or output equals generate 3 potential designs to improve retention. I don't know if this is a question or not. Do you have any insight on this? Outcome equals improve retention by 20% or output equals generate 3 potential designs to improve retention?
I guess I'm going to take that as is that trying to craft a key result? I'm the best way I can answer that one. I appreciate the question. I think you should always kind of measure yourself on outcomes. I think if I kind of take this down the road of what's a good key result to measure the objective, it would be what are some outcomes that can be measured in some way, whether it's on a weekly basis, we're hiring, 2 new people to our firm, or we're increasing mobile web ARPU by 10%. I think they have to be pretty specific and outcome based to really bring focus and to bring clarification and to make sure that you're measuring yourselves accurately and fairly.
Okay, awesome. I think there was a second part to the question that that didn't make it into the comments, so we'll see if he posts the rest of that. Other than that, just since we got some extra time here, we'll let him fix that question. What's your favorite part about product management? This is taking a step backwards to a more simplified question, but what's your favorite part about product management? What motivates you to wake up and come into work every day?
Sure. There's specifically 2 things. Usually, you have a bunch of indirect reports as a product person. Again, depending on what level you're at, you might have some directs, but in general, you've got a lot of different indirects, and it's not for everybody. But what gets me up in the morning is inspiring and leading those people indirectly towards something that's bigger than ourselves. That's what really gets me going, is that leadership, whether direct or indirect. I would say the other thing that gets me up in the morning is knowing that I've got a set of cross-functional partners, and basically consultants, to bounce ideas off of, to problem solve with, to collaborate with on some pretty amazing opportunities, and some challenges. So it's one coin leadership, one coin innovation and creativity.
Awesome. So we have another question here from Okianas, and he says, what returns should executives count on when rolling out OKRs, and how can coaches make sure that they can measure what matters? What returns should executives count on when rolling out OKRs, and how can coaches make sure that they can measure what matters?
Totally. That's a great question. Okeanis, I think that's got your name right. So if you're first implementing OKRs, flat out, you're going to fail. The first time you do it, don't care who you are. It historically, and the book Radical Focus states it up front. They're not going to go well. You're going to fail, because you have to get the kind of ethos, the culture in line with doing those and accepting them. We quickly realized that we could only do one. We tried to do a couple. So I think if executives and leadership understand that the first time we do this, or the first time someone is doing an OKR or going after it in OKR framework, highly likely that the outcome is going to be they're going to fail, and that's okay, right? Because you're going to fail forward, right? Because you're doing this thing, which is going to eventually improve focus and improve things for the business and the consumer if you do it right. So I think that's one expectation, is that when you first institute these things, the coaches and or the executives and everyone needs to be comfortable that we're probably not going to hit our OKR or check it off, check the box, after the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, if you're setting them on a quarterly basis. Because a lot of things might come in the way of that. A lot of things might disrupt that. It's something new. There's going to be resistance to that newness and that change, and you just have to work through that. But eventually, people will see the light and see the benefits of it, and you'll get through it. I think after that, I think that executives should be measuring those key results. They should be monitoring, and the product person should be doing a good job of this too, is communicating the trends and how we're trending towards the steps we're taking are actually making us realize that objective. And so they should be following that, right? That confidence level, it's a little loose, right? But I think you can quickly see that if you're high, okay, if we're high for a couple weeks, and then you start, the product manager in collaboration with his partners is like, oh man, whoa, we've got a lot more pieces to do for this objective. The confidence is now medium. And if that dips, that executive leadership should be noting, right, that, hey, we were high in making strides and steps towards realize this objective by the end of the quarter, and now it's dipped. I'm going to go and talk to them, the leads of that pod or that internal startup team. Why have you dipped down to medium and low confidence? What's in your way? What's happening? Are things not right with either the team structure or too many dependencies? What? So that should be a trigger. So that's how they should be watching and kind of measuring and monitoring that. Hope that helps.
Awesome. Thank you. So I think we have time for one more question here from George. Hi, Alex. What would you say might be the potential drawbacks of following an OKR framework, if any?
George, that's a good question. Thank you for it. I think it's, if you've got a business that you're running where you have to kind of maintain and keep the lights on and so forth, but you're trying to go after objectives, I would say to concisely say that maybe people will get too latched on to objectives and might forget about or not take as into focus that, oh yeah, we've got these products that are already out there. We have to maintain them, incrementally evolve them, take in requests. So I think if all your effort and focus is on the objective oriented work, you might lose focus or might lose some velocity on more of the operational or maintenance work that the team is charged with. But again, that's where that health metric framework paired with the objectives helps with that. So again, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it, because that health metric report and that pulse that we're keeping on the business will tell us if we need to get off the highway to fix something, a flat tire, fill up the gas, fix a bug, whatever it is, or we stay the course and really make sustainable change going after the objective. So I really think where we've had some significant success here at CNN Digital in the past couple of weeks, months, is that we started OKRs, and then we layered in, we realized that we were losing sight of the day-to-day. And so we layered in that health metrics, and that really helped us keep a pulse on the business and maintaining what we have and incrementally evolving it, but able to keep focus on the objective oriented work. So I think they are a very good partnership in terms of maintaining focus and making sure your business is okay.
Awesome. That's cool. It's got a really nice balance. I like the health aspect to it. So actually I do have one more question for you here from Fraidi. How do you track and archive your OKRs over time? Do you have them visible for the whole company? How many objectives do you set per team? Thanks.
Cool. Thanks for the question. Yeah, it's a great one too. Pretty simple. Yeah, they're in kind of collaboration documents. They are right now, some are emergent OKRs from the teams because we're, closer to the problems and the opportunities in our space. Some are absolutely more executive led and more directive. And then we've got leadership in place to help us reconcile and kind of collate the ideas and distribute those. So we keep them in a collaborative format in collaborative documents. I think Paper Doc, Google Docs, just think of all the different collaboration spaces you could keep them. Our spirit here is that, we do not silo information. Anybody and everybody can have access to it that needs to and that wants to. So we don't hide it. We want people to know what we're working on, what objectives we have in mind for the next quarter or back half of the year. So yeah, we share that pretty broadly and openly and with intent. As far as archiving, yeah, we would, I imagine in that collaboration document, we've got, hey, we're focusing on these for Q3. That's a good question too. If we don't meet that OKR, what happens to it, right? We don't stop. We continue going on until we realize that OKR, or we'd have a larger discussion to say, okay, it's taking us a lot longer to realize this OKR. Do we need more people on it? Do we need to rethink it? And just do an assessment of it. But I imagine that once we start ticking off some of these OKRs here at CNN Digital, yeah, we're not going to delete them from our system. We'd want to archive them, for historical and for, learnings, and to further kind of share the framework with others in the business that are adopting it. So yeah, we would just kind of put those in kind of like an archive, folder or format. Yeah, but definitely have them open to everyone, so everyone can have a view into it. I think if you have a lot of people, that could be, in terms of collaborating on it, that might be a little bit tough. So make sure that maybe you've got a focused set of cross-functional partners, 5 or 6 people that represent the business, collaborating on it with a, halo of people that have an awareness or have a view into what you're crafting in terms of objectives and key results.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I think that wraps up the questions. I'm not seeing any new ones here. Do you have any last remarks you'd like to make or say to the audience?
I do. Thank you for that, for the reminder. Yeah. Closing thoughts, guys. As I've been going down my product journey, I can't stress enough these couple of tenets. They're not obviously comprehensive, but are some really good ones that have helped guide me through my product journey so far. But it's be wrong as fast as you can, learn as fast as you can, fail as fast as you can, and learn from it. Be nimble. You got to be flexible. You're working with some amazing, incredible, smart people. So be nimble, dig your heels in where you need to be, but really be open, and be flexible, because the spaces we usually play in require us to be nimble and fast. So just kind of embody that. Be curious. I touched on that earlier. Again, can't stress that one enough. To be pushing products forward and pushing people forward, you've got to be naturally curious, to be open to new ideas and creativity, and to be able to innovate. Be a servant leader. I touched on that a little bit in the presentation, but I embody that, or have started to embody that with my team, and it's resonated really well. I've seen directive leadership styles, and in some cases, and in some industries, and maybe in some firms, they have some value and merits. But I've found better success being a servant leader and being a nimble servant collaborative leader, where I help remove things that are in my team's way, to help them achieve greatness, and just be humble, right? Great things come from those that do it as a team. You can't do it yourself. There's just no way. Again, my personal perspective, lean on your peers and your colleagues. Be humble when they give you praise. Be thankful when they give you feedback. Just be humble, and it'll take you really far in your career. And then, yes, one more tout is that at CNN Digital, we are hiring. So I will send Dan this link to have him post it with this video, and wherever that Product School can promote it for us. Thank you, Product School. But yes, we are hiring across the board: engineering, product, project, tech managers, you name it. So if you're interested in working in a fun, collaborative, high-paced environment that's looking to change the media and technology world at that intersection, please come check out the jobs, and please come work with us.
Awesome, Alex. Thank you so much for your time and for those closing thoughts. Those were really nice. So before I say bye to you, I just want to give our audience some more information on Product School and our upcoming courses and events, so they have the resources to become a product manager. Our product management certificates are taught by industry leaders working at companies like Google and Facebook. And in addition to that, we offer online and on-site events at our 20 campuses worldwide. So if you're located near a campus, make sure you stop by one of the events every Wednesday and Thursday. And you can also find us on social media at Product School. And you can keep up with the latest product management content at the product blog at productschool.com. So thank you all for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you next week. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
See you all.